us is drinking coffee, and one of us is not. Can you guess who?
It looks like a latte from here.
It does.
Of course,
this is Cathy Vartuli from the IntimacyDojo.com that I'm sitting right next to.
And I'm here with Reid from ReidAboutSex.com.
And we have a question that one of you wrote in. Which one should we go now?
All right. I love all the questions. Someone said, I love getting, quote unquote, having, or parentheses, having, question mark, my sex info with Reid and Cathy in stereo. I love that. So the question we're going to answer is, how come dating life is feast or famine? How can you nurture yourself when you're in the famine stage and not lose your head when it's a feast?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I have an idea of what this question means, but the way that I would make it mean, because I might be wrong, is how do you get through the lean times?
Yeah, I think that's what it means.
And I'm a big fan of getting your social needs met when you don't have sexual partners, like getting your monkey needs met from your communities, which doesn't have to be your friends. Like you can get a lot of social needs met from strangers when you start stacking, here are the things that I'm interested in. Here are the things that bring me joy.
I want to reiterate, he's not necessarily talking about having sex with strangers.
But I could be.
Could be, but that's not, I don't think that's where you're generally aiming, but it came across that way.
Yeah. Okay, to you maybe. But the idea of being
let's do this thing.
You geek out about wine, and you love wine, and you love when you have somebody to date, and then you go share wine experiences together. Mm-hmm. And maybe you don't have a lot of friends who enjoy wine. There are meetups. You can go on meetup.com or check out Facebook groups where there are people who are into wine and then show up at wine tastings and things like that and be social in a way that might be scary because you might be introverted or shy, but you're leveraging this thing that you already know about yourself that you love. And so then you kind of stack going out and getting some social needs met. Maybe you have a lot of touch needs, but you have nobody in your life for touch. The easy fix is go get a massage.
Or pedicure, or go to a cuddle party. Yeah.
Or go to this is not the same as massage, but do you have nieces and nephews?
Go.
And play the human jungle gym with some kids. Not the same as adult touch, but it's touch and socializing, which go a long way to help make starving, those lean times when you don't have somebody to date, easier. The analogy for me is if there's no food, but at least there's water, you can take care of the thirst, which will help you hopefully sustain yourself until you find the food.
I think that's really important because I think a lot of adults are socialized to think that if you don't get sexual touch, you're starving. Versus playing innocently with your nieces and nephews and kind of tussling and wrestling, their skin hunger can get fulfilled. We can actually, and it's fun for them. It's good for kids to have hugs and cuddles and snuggles and read a book together. And I think that a lot of times we as adults collapse that if I'm not getting sex, then I'm as adult not getting my needs met. When people don't actually die if they don't actually have sex, they just sometimes get grumpy.
Answer the question.
So I think that,
I swallowed it wrong. That's what I get for being a jackass.
Coffee. And notice lean times, what are you doing during those times? Are you, I've created them for myself, not even consciously, where I was just kind of waiting for someone to appear in my life. I wasn't going out as much. I wasn't telling my friends, hey, I'm looking for fun people to hang out with and date. Can you invite me to things? Can you introduce me to cool people you think I'd like? So, and the times that were less lean in general for me, I was going out more. I was telling people I wanted to date. I was on OkCupid. And there are certainly times where you're like, I'm just not meeting anyone. But I think when we're hungry, it's harder to meet people. Yeah. It's we're and people are scared because you're like, oh my God. And I've gone out on a lot of dates with people that just they were so hungry. It was I feel scared to open up. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah, I mean, again, these are all just ideas.
Yeah.
You're not broken if these ideas don't work for you. And generally speaking, getting your social needs met from lots of different sources, rather than having one friend or one person be your like only supplier of touch, or going out and trying new things. This is tricky, right? Because definitely with romantic relationships, things are really screwy, because the conventional thinking is you will be my only supplier of these intimate needs, which is starting to become less, like we're talking about how that can be unhealthy.
For some people.
But, and having a monogamous relationship where this person is your sole erotic support, but having friends, having
not
community.
having one person who's your only conduit of all abundance.
Yeah, but we also do this for like friendships and stuff. Like you have your bestie, and they are your bestie for everything. Which again is just like, hey, totally cool that you have a bestie, but are they the only supply line for all this other stuff?
Like you won't go to a movie without that person.
Yeah. Last but not least, this is actually just popped into my head, but this is what I was trying to figure out. I was like, what is that thing? Go volunteer. Yeah. Like, this is going to sound so, like, why is he saying this? Go volunteer for an organization that inspires you, and go help people as a means of getting yourself out of the house, getting yourself surrounded by people, and feeling like you did some good in the world. This is a huge, can be a huge win for people, because then you're helping. Maybe it's a soup kitchen line, or cleaning up the park with a group that cleans up parks. Like, who knows what it is for you? But then you're meeting new people. You're getting out there, and you feel like you contributed to something that you cared about. That can be huge.
Yeah. I'd like to come back and do another video on identity, because I think sometimes the feast and famine can feel really strong when we're equating our identity with having people to either have sex with or relationships with. So we'll be right back. Please leave the comments below.